What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, checking out some Ice Ice Baby. We got new water supports coming out of Battles of Legends. Three cards to talk about, and Konami really just continuing on with this generic water support theme in this booster set. First up is Ice Knight, level 4 water aqua monster, 1300 attack, 1200 defense. This card gains 400 attack for each aqua monster you control, so basically you can think of this card always as a 1700 attack monster. Once per turn, you can activate this effect during the main phase of this turn. You can normal summon one water monster. In addition to your normal summon / set, you can only gain this effect once per turn. You cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except water monsters. So I've talked about this before. There are certain water decks out there, mainly like Marincess, that are already accustomed to being locked into water. I don't think Marincess even play any cards in their extra deck that are not water anyways. And a lot of those decks, Mermill's like another one, they play other level 4 monsters and they already can, summon like the Bahamut Shark Totally Awesome package, and they can summon that play pretty easily just throughout the natural course of their progressions. Cards like these make it even easier. I'm a fan of this card, also having 1700 attack, so if your play gets disrupted, and not for nothing, but you got at least a decent size beater. So in decks like Mermill and decks like Marincess, I think that this card can definitely find a home, or if you're playing like another, water deck that can easily summon level 4s, throughout your normal play, I think this is a card that definitely works. Next up, we have Ice Mirror. This is a normal spell card. Target one level 3 or lower water monster you control. Special summon one monster with the same name from your deck while you control that monster is special summoned by this effect. You cannot special summon from the extra deck. Okay, so my understanding, according to what I read on Reddit, is that this card is already in Duel Links, and apparently it's better in Duel Links because it doesn't have the restriction of you not being able to special summon from the extra deck. That is mind-blowing that Duel Links already has this card, and it's like infinitely better in that game, because this is one of those cards that could have been fantastic. It could have been a godsend for so many archetypes. I mean, the first one that came to my mind was Frogs, because any of your normal summon Frogs, Dupe Frog, Ronin Totem, Swap Frog, they instantly would have became one card Totally Awesomes. Swap Frog technically still can do that because Swap Frog, I think, is probably going to be the best target because Swap Frog can kind of cheat around it. You can summon the second Swap Frog from your deck, you can activate the effect, dump something else, and then you can bounce the Swap Frog to your hand, and the whole not being able to special summon from the extra deck is no longer valid because he's not on the field. However, in decks like Crystron, Marincess, Mermill, I'm going to keep bringing these decks up because they are water decks and these are like water cards. You're just not going to be able to get much use out of this card. Like, how are you going to pop off in Crystron's without using the extra deck? Like, what? I mean, how are you going to really do anything in Marincess without using the extra deck? Like, that's how these decks are built. They're built to be used where you're special summoning from the extra deck probably is like your third, fourth summon, at the most. So I don't like that restriction. I feel like this card would have already been incredibly niche even if it didn't have that restriction. And I feel like Konami took the amount of great targets for it pretty much down to single digits at most, just by adding that effect in, and apparently it's not even in Duel Links, so that's even more puzzling. Final card is Ice Barrier. We got a battle trap here. Second effect is hard once per turn. When an attack is declared involving an opponent's monster, change that opponent's monster, the opponent's monster's attack to 0. Its battle position cannot be changed. Also, its effects are negated. Second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard. You cannot special summon monsters until the end of your next turn, except water monsters. You can send one level 5 or higher water monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then you can add one water monster from your graveyard to your hand. So I guess with that second effect, you can just add the same monster that you just dumped to the graveyard because that effect happens afterwards. But I think it's actually kind of like a problem, I think, with this card, is the fact that you have to be running high-level monsters. And again, in a deck like Mermill, which, I mean, Mermill has really never ran battle traps, but in a deck like Mermill, yeah, they do run high-level monsters, but what about some of the other ones, like Marincess and Frogs and, like, Crystrons? They don't traditionally have like high level monsters. They might summon some high level stuff from the extra deck, or I mean, well, Marincess don't have levels, they got links, but you get what I'm saying. They might summon some big monsters from like the extra deck, but Yeah, like they don't necessarily run those monsters in the main deck unless Konami plans on giving us title, the Dragon Ruler monster back. Like then that would definitely help. The battle phase or the battle trap element of this card is kind of cute. Basically, it's kind of stop a monster's attack, or at least you're changing the monster's attack to 0. It doesn't have to be when your opponent's attacking you like monster to monster. It can even be with a direct attack. You also get the monster's effect negated. Honestly, if Konami wants people to play battle traps, they're gonna either have to make these things like all have secondary effects that are crazy good. This one's okay. Or they're gonna have to make it so like you can't respond to them, honestly, because like battle traps, I just don't really see any of the water decks playing this card. If I'm being honest, like battle traps, they had their time in Yu-Gi-Oh, but that time has kind of passed unless they're going to be made incredibly powerful. And this card it's cute, but it's not strong enough. It only works on one monster attack. And yeah, like negating monster effects is cool, but specifically in the battle phase, would have liked to maybe see something where I don't know, they would have had to made it so you can play it from the hand or something like that to get us to play this. But at least I think that Ice Knight's pretty cool. Anyways, whatever you guys think of the cards, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always.